In this video, we're going to discuss PBR materials. Before we jump in, let's quickly discuss what PBR is. PBR, short for physically based rendering, is a shading and rendering method that tells light how to interact with surfaces. Every material in VStitcher is made up of channels that communicate a different portion of this shading method. Many of the channels have maps, images, and an intensity slider that increases or decreases the effects of the channel. The most important channels are the diffuse, specular, roughness, and normal. The diffuse channel is responsible for most of the surface characteristics and the color of the material. This is the only channel that requires a map for the material to be created. This map is essentially what you would see if you took a photo of the fabric. Here we see the same material shown before that is only using the diffuse channel. The next channel is a specular channel. This dictates the amount of light that is reflected off the material. A map is not required and is often left out. The most essential part of this channel is the slider. When this slider is increased, the amount of light reflected also increases. For most materials, we recommend values ranging from 0 to 0.5. The roughness map works in tandem with the specular channel to determine the material's shine. Roughness is the microsurface detail from completely smooth to a rough material and dictates how light is dispersed across the material. As this slider is increased, the reflection of the light is more evenly distributed across the material. For most materials, we recommend values between 0.8 to 1.0. Next, we have the normal channel. The map for this channel is a blue to purple image that gives the material a perceived depth. It does this by reflecting light differently across the material to create shadows. Note there is no actual depth added to the material. The slider for this map increases the intensity of the shadows. This map can be easily generated using 3D CAD software as well as some 2D software such as Photoshop. For guidance on creating a normal map, check out this link. Another channel related to the depth of the fabric is the displacement channel. Note this effect is only visible using ray trace rendering. This gives the material a true 3D depth by pulling and pushing the geometry of the fabric. In a similar manner to the normal map, as the intensity is increased, the effect is increased. Now let's look at the channels available under Advanced options. The metalness channel defines if the material is metal or non-metal material. This is because metals reflect light differently than non-metals. When viewing this map, anything that is white is a metal material, and anything black is a non-metal material. As the slider is increased, the intensity of the metal effect is increased. While this channel was made for metal, it can also be useful for fabrics such as satin and silk. The next few channels only consist of sliders. The first channel like this is the specular tint. In PBR, the light reflected from material inherits the color of the environment used. Using this slider allows us to adjust the color of the reflection. With the slider set at 0, the color is completely taken from the environment. As the value is increased, more of the material's own color is reflected. The next slider-only channel is sheen. Sheen is used to add highlights to the outskirts of the material. A common use for this channel is for material with natural fuzziness, such as velvet. The last slider-only channel is sheen tint. This slider is essentially the same as the specular tint channel, but only applies to the areas with sheen. The next channel is the subsurface. This map is used as a secondary diffuse channel for complex materials. This channel can be used for materials where the color of the reflected light is different than the diffuse channel. To achieve this, we set the subsurface color to our desired color from the material. Then we set the diffuse color to our desired reflective color. Then, to bring the effect through, we adjust the specular tint and the subsurface sliders. Next is the clear coat channel. We use this slider to add an extra layer of shine to our material like a laminate finish. Finally, there's clear coat roughness, which is used to adjust the clarity of the clear coat. In a manner similar to the roughness channel, When this is increased, the reflection becomes muted. In short, there are many channels that we can fine-tune to give the best look for our materials. While the diffuse map is the only required map, each map added improves how the material appears. In this video, you've learned the basics of PBR materials. For more information, check out the Browseware Help Center.